Okay, so the presidents make a console tier list.
What up, gamers? Me, Sleepy Joe, and Barack are here to rank some consoles.
It should be
What up, gamers? Me,
Okay.
Sleepy Joe, and Barack are here to rank some consoles.
it should be noted that this was Donald's idea, and since me and Joey have PCs and don't really game on console that much, we can't give out the best opinion for the newer stuff.
True. PC in God tier right off the bat. I didn't even look at this. And just if let's see. Is there a PC? No. Nope, there is no PC on here. So this list is void. Sorry. But anyway, I've owned a couple of consoles back in the day when I was younger, so I thought this would be funny.
On God, switching to PC was the best decision I ever made.
Actually true. Like once you go PC, you know, there's tons of options to get a pre-built one. Pre-builts are actually good. The only fee you have to worry about paying is the actual building and shipping fee. You know, if you're not a computer person, you've never built a computer before, you know, it's all right. They'll just build it for you and they'll mail it to you. But, you know, you're probably going to end up paying like an extra $1,000 for like the build and the shipping. All right. It's a thing. You have to deal with it. You don't want to deal with trying to learn how to build it. Then let somebody else build it and then they'll mail it to you. It's not tough.
Okay, guys, we get it. You guys are losers with ugly wives that won't leave you if you buy a $3,000 setup. Anyways,
$3,000. What? Only $3,000?
let's get this list started. I'm putting the Nintendo 64 at good tier because I liked it a lot and it was
Okay, N64 is at least good tier. I think that was the first console that I think maybe introduced like 3D graphics for me anyway. And I remember when I got an N64, it was, I think, when I was about 8 or 9. My mom got it for me, and like I'm sitting there at the table with my little hat on, and she's like, "Okay, that's all the presents." And I remember telling her like days before, you know, all the other kids were getting N64s or whatever, and so I was like, "Oh, I need an N64. I need this. I need this too. I need this too." And I'm sitting there at the table. She brought me some presents or whatever. Like, "Okay, that's all the presents." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then, you know, I ate my cake or whatever. And then I think she left because I had like a couple friends over or whatever. She leaves us and she comes back into the kitchen and it's like a big box. And I was like, I'm a little kid, so I'm like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And like, she's like, "I don't know. What is it? Maybe you should open it." So I start ripping into the paper and then I see the big like 3D N on it. I don't exactly remember what the box looked like, but there's a big N on it. And I was like, "No way." And I start going crazy or whatever. And then after there, it was just like, it was history. I was having a blast the rest of the day.
it was extremely solid.
Questionable take, Donnie. I think it's an S tier.
Yeah, Donald, it was a revolutionary thing for the time and had elite games like Ocarina of Time and GoldenEye.
Yep.
Listen, guys, I'm making the list and I don't disagree with you two, but this is quite
You don't disagree? All right, then put it in God tier then.
possibly the best list ever made. Some say it's really one of the only real lists that will ever exist. Just trust me, fellas. After that, I have the Dreamcast at bad tier. Like, did anyone ever own this thing?
Yes. I mean, I didn't own it. My friend owned it, and we played Sonic and Crazy Taxi on it a shitload. And then what else did we play? There was like, what was that other? Power Stone. We played Power Stone on it. Those were the three games, like any type of Sonic. Maybe it was like Sonic Adventures or something. And this was a good console. All right. Yeah, it was like the biggest controller and it was ridiculous, but who gives a shit? You know, the graphics were awesome.
I remember Shapiro kept raving about how underrated it was and how it's actually one of the better consoles for its time, but like, who gives a shit if no one owns it?
Yeah, I don't remember it that well.
True. The one friend that did own it, he was the only friend that owned it. And if anybody wanted to play some of the games, we had to go to his house and play it.
Of course, you don't remember it, Joe, but next up we got the PlayStation 1 and OG Xbox at good tier because it was really fun and great, but I don't think either was God tier.
Okay, so the PlayStation and OG Xbox. So I actually still have the OG Xbox, except it is the green Halo Xbox. Do I still have it? Yeah, I still have it. It's like back there. I'm not gonna fucking get it. That thing's fucking heavy as shit. I don't know how heavy it actually is, but I would say it's at least like 20 to 25 pounds. So I don't feel like wiping the dust off of the Halo box and like just it's a good freaking Xbox. Like Xbox is okay. So here's why Xbox is god tier. Halo. That's it. That's all that needs to be said. I can't tell you. I think Halo was my first like No, I can't say that because I played GoldenEye on N64 and a couple other shooters. So Halo was the first really good FPS I played, and I remember going to my friend's house and actually packing up the console in like a backpack, going to like my friend's house and playing Halo because he also had an Xbox and also had Halo. And not only that, I thought it was really cool that not only was it him that played Halo, but he was somehow able to like get his mom, his dad, his brother, and his aunts and uncles to play Halo, and they were all actually like decent at it. You know, they weren't just push the left thumbstick forward, go forward, and the right thumbstick like in some way so like you're not spinning in circles. All right, all these people were like decent at the game. All right. They weren't just like pointing up and like going in circles. And I remember doing that for a lot of times. Maybe it was when I was in like middle school. I kind of want to say middle school because I don't remember doing it in high school. Yeah. The Halo LAN parties, those were the best. Especially when you go over to a friend's house and their entire family plays Halo. Literally the best. I will remember that the rest of my life. Freaking awesome. PlayStation? What can you say about PlayStation? Like PS1. All the OG games. There's so many. I can't even remember any of them because I'm just too old to remember any of them. Oh my god, I need like something in front of me to like remember them all. But I do remember like the PlayStation, you had the one port for the controller and the other port for the controller. And then if you wanted to buy like the Flying V or the A or the whatever, you could plug in like, what was it, 4 more controllers or something? That was revolutionary for its time. Having up to like what, 6 controllers or up to 4 on a PlayStation. I mean the Xbox you could do 4 because they just had it right there. I think PlayStation was trying to catch up because Xbox was a little fucking better than PlayStation. But yeah, I remember that shit. That was awesome. What was really annoying with PlayStation and Xbox as well was the disc scratching. That shit was fucking annoying.
Yeah, they are cool, but the PS2 was way better.
Yep.
Agreed. You better put that shit in God tier, Donald.
Shut the fuck up, Joe and Barack. It is my list, and I will put it wherever I want. I just so happen to agree with you two both, so it will go in God tier.
I can get behind that. I'm kind of salty Xbox isn't in God tier, but it's whatever. But PS2 was freaking awesome. The graphics jump from PS1 to PS2 was insane. All right. Plus, this was the first time you could put a console from lying down to upwards. And I don't remember. I think this was also the first time, like, because what was it? PS2, like PS1, PS2, Xbox. Where'd Xbox go next? Is there a 360 on here? There has to be a 360 on here. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Okay, so PS2 and 360. I don't know, maybe 360 went with PS3. This was the first set of consoles that started the console wars, and also the consoles where they would possibly overheat and ruin your game if they stood up, like straight up. Because I remember that was a question that you got asked on like the QA, or not the QA team, like customer service. Like if your PlayStation 2 broke and you call in for customer service to like get another one, they asked you, is your PlayStation up or is it lying down? So if that was an issue, so if you said that you had your PlayStation sitting up, they couldn't help you because it was your fault that you had it up. But if you said it was lying down, then okay, we'll send you another one. It's the machine inside. So that was what you had to do to get around that.
It had some elite games and just good memories overall from that gaming generation. Same goes with the PS2 Slim. It's going in God tier.
I never owned a PS2 Slim. I thought that shit was a joke. Like, what? That thing looks like a griddle, dude. Like, I could, like, fry some pancakes on that shit. Like what?
Next up is the Game Boy Advance, and let me tell you, too, this shit is going in God tier right off the...
Easy. All the Pokemon games. Enough said. Next.
bat.
Oh shit, now Donald is cooking.
I know. I told you guys to trust me because the Master Chef is now here. The PSP, unfortunately, will not be getting much...
The PSP was God tier because you could watch porn on it. All right, that's the only reason. Other than that, I don't remember what games were on it. All right, the only good thing was you could open up a browser on it, and if you can open up a browser, you can get on the porn sites. All right, that's pretty much it.
Love from me. There's no iconic games, and it wasn't supported that much, I feel. And don't get me wrong, guys, it was cool, but it just had nothing on the next console coming up.
Since I know where this is going, I'm not going to hate you too much for this, but the PSP was mad underrated.
Barack, I want to agree with you, but I'm with Donnie here. It just isn't that good compared to the DS that's coming up.
Barack, your brain must be scrambled from eating Michelle's low-calorie foods, but the PSP is perfectly rated, and the DS is as well, since I'm putting it in God tier.
Yeah.
Settle down, Joe.
Okay, the DS, I don't know about God tier. I think I'd probably put it in like okay or good tier, just because the same fact for the fucking Game Boy Advance or whatever, you know? You got all the Pokemon games. I think this was the first one where you had that WarioWare shit, where they tried to like push the envelope on how like what kind of things you could do with it. You had all the Mega Mans, Castlevania, Metroids. Ton of great games.
But the DS was elite, and it even let you play Game Boy games. I just don't see how the PSP could compete. It had no chance like Hillary did against me in 2016.
Well, some would say it wasn't that much of a landslide.
Haters gonna hate Barack. You're just upset no one gives a shit about your PSP. Moving on, we have another S tier in the Wii. Let me tell you all about the Wii.
Wii is absolutely God tier. All right, easy. Nobody for its time was hooking up a controller to their wrist and using all that motion capture bullshit. You know, I think, bro, isn't Wii Sports supposed to be like in the Olympics like this year? All right, that's how God tier it is. It's still relevant today, and it's gonna be in the Olympics. Or I don't know, maybe it's the Switch. I don't know, but still, Wii Sports has transcended time and space with how long people have been playing it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least one family or something that still has a Wii that's hooked up to like the Wii Tennis, bowling, or whatever. And like whenever their grandparents come over, they'll be like, "Oh, you're gonna get that gaming station to where we could play the sports and shit," or whatever. And it's like that's their pastime. All right, I would not be surprised if there's at least one family that still has a Wii hooked up for like Wii Sports only.
What do y'all know about the motherfucking Wii?
Donald, I was playing that shit in the White House. Of course I know about the Wii.
Yeah, Donnie, me, and Barack were playing it like crazy. Shit like Wii Sports went wild, not to mention the exclusives on it were good as hell, too.
Okay, since you guys want to take over my list and tell me everything, then fuck me in my opinion, I guess.
No, sorry, Donald. Please continue. You're cooking right now.
Since you asked nicely, I will. I have the PS Vita at OK tier. It was cool as shit.
What the heck? Bro, I remember the PS Vita is a thing, but I don't remember anything about the PS Vita.
But much like the PSP, I don't think it was supported a lot.
No.
It was too advanced for its time. We weren't ready.
Valid.
Next, I have the Xbox 360 at God tier.
True. Who remembers the red ring of death? All right. There are a couple types of rings, and one of them was the red ring of death. And I don't remember if it was because it was a ring, but it was 4 lights, and I don't remember if it was the top left or the top right one. It had to be like black, but the other 3 were lit up, and that was the red ring of death. And if that ever popped up on your Xbox, then essentially you just have an expensive paperweight. You know, your little console's bricked.
That was the console that showed us the jump from older consoles to next gen. Shit was amazing seeing the transition.
Yeah.
But I have the PS3 at OK tier because even though it had the same great stuff as the 360, it was just too expensive and came out later.
I think that's true. But is it all just okay? At this point, there's a lot of exclusives were more of a thing. There were so many more exclusives for each side. You know, the Microsoft Xbox exclusives and like the Sony PlayStation exclusives. It was really divisive.
The Blu-ray reader was cool though.
Oh my God, the Blu-ray reader. I remember. So the PlayStation 3, I think, had the Blu-ray reader. And that was like the new hotness or whatever. It's like, oh, watch DVDs with more like definition and whatnot. And then I'm not sure if it was the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One of these. But they were like starting to peddle HD DVDs. And it's like Blu-ray, theirs was like blue. And like HD DVDs, which was like the competitor, it was like red. All right. And it's like, ooh, the next Xbox has HD DVDs, but that's not really a thing anymore.
Oh, and I won't even make a comment on the Kinect.
I loved watching movies on my PS3.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Did he just put the Xbox One in trash tier? Oh my God. That's understandable though, because I don't even own one of those today.
Cool, Joey, just like how the 3DS was cool and had a nice little gimmick, but it couldn't capture the magic the DS and Game Boy had for me. So
that's fair. All right. At this point, for the 3DS, you know, their little gimmick was not having to put on the, like 3D glasses that you had to for everything other for 3D. That gimmick was like the image just comes like separated, and as long as you held the thing at like a set distance in front of you, it would appear 3D, which was fine because I think there was a setting to like turn that shit off, which is what I think most people did, unless it was like a fringe game that like utilized it really good. It was essentially the same titles that was on like every other Game Boy that came before it.
it belongs in OK tier. But this next item I have is going straight to trash tier. The Wii U is fucking garbage.
The Wii U was pretty much garbage. All right. It was like a catch-up console from Nintendo. I think they tried to say this is the next gen of consoles or whatever, and everyone was like, really? Is it? It doesn't seem like it, because up until this point, like Sony and Microsoft were like doing their own thing, and like essentially it was like the same console, the Xbox and the PlayStation, and Nintendo always did their own thing. You know, they were always trying to peddle their version of the next gen console, which was fine. But it just was not happening with the Wii U.
I'm not going to argue that it wasn't garbage, but can we acknowledge that it had super...
Actually, there's something wrong with this list. I'm noticing this just now. There's literally every like type of Nintendo thing besides a GameCube. Like, I don't see a GameCube here at all. And as we all know, the only thing that anybody played on GameCube is Melee. And Melee still gets played today really religiously, all right? And if that was the case, GameCube would be in God tier, above all this other shit, probably. So, yeah, there's that.
For Smash Bros, and that's all we needed.
And Breath of the Wild.
True.
Okay, yeah, it had good exclusives, but that shit was trash. Next, we got another God tier, and that is the PlayStation 4. It was a...
Okay, at this point, they all just seem like the same console to me. All right? Sad to say, it's all the same console to me, just different versions.
Great jump into next gen again, but in my opinion, Sony handled it a lot better than Microsoft did. It really shows that they learned from their mistakes. The Xbox One had a worse release and didn't have great exclusives like Spider-Man and Infamous Second Son.
Wasn't this the same generation where, what was it? Did Sony try to pull that bullshit where it was like they tried to make all the games only digital as opposed to like digital and hard copy? And then the other company was like, here, this is what we're going to do. What you have to do as a customer to share your game with your friend. And then they just handed another person like a box with a game in it saying that like, oh, we still have hard copies or whatever. And everybody just loved that shit. I wonder if that's the same today or maybe not. Maybe everybody just like wants more digital still because it's just easier. Much the same way that like everybody has their own like phone, with a bunch of like whatever they want in it. I'm pretty sure it's the same way. Everyone would rather have like a digital game than a hard copy game, I think. I'm just guessing. I'm talking shit.
Yeah, I loved Spider-Man so much.
Exactly, Sleepy Joe. I bet that shit woke your ass up with how good it was. And to be honest, the PS4 Pro was good, and that's all I have to say on it.
What is a PS4 Pro? I did not know that even existed, all right? It's just like a PS4 plus a little more? I take it?
Same goes with the Xbox One S and X. They were solid. But more importantly...
Like, I think this is just recency bias. Just because it was more recent and you had like good feels on it means it'll be more likely to go higher on the list, all right? Because this is just like a little bit better versions of the original version, all right? Like what?
One of my favorites is coming up, and that is the Nintendo Switch. Got an OLED one, and that shit fucking slaps.
You're looking like a bit of a Nintendo fanboy right now, Donald.
No, let him keep cooking. I love the Switch.
Rare W from you, Joe, but yeah, the Switch is amazing, and the exclusives alone carry it for Nintendo.
All right.
I have another thing
I'll
going
buy
in
it.
S tier, and it's going to be the PS5. Everyone should already have one by now, and if you own one, you already know that it's amazing.
No. Just no. But whatever. I'll let it fly.
This is around the time me and Barack got
Also, this is the Seto Kaiba console.
gaming PC, so we can't really grade these, to be honest.
Yeah, me and Joey can't really say much, but is it true, Donnie, that the PS5 controller feels really cool?
Yes, that controller makes me want to come with all that haptic feedback.
Not exactly what I was asking for, but thanks for the input.
I kind of want one now.
Joe, you need to get one. Next, I have the Xbox Series S at God tier as well, and the Series X at OK tier.
Why is that?
Okay. Series X? I'm kind of new to like all these consoles because I just stopped buying consoles. All right. So I'm just like beside myself with how many versions of the original console that they can come out with.
I'm glad you asked Joey. You see, the Series S provides a nice and affordable way to get into next-gen gaming as it's cheaper than the PS5, but the Series X is more expensive, and at that point, the PS5 is way better.
Which one has better exclusives?
Is that even a fucking question, Joe? It's obviously PlayStation. Why the fuck would you ask a question like that when we just talked about how cool Spider-Man is?
Sorry, I just find it odd you have so many God-tier consoles. And if the Series S is God tier, like you said, then it should have better exclusives. And if it doesn't, then maybe it should go to good tier instead.
Nope.
You know, Donald, Joe is making some solid points. Don't you think you have a bit too much at God tier?
Yeah.
Fuck off, you two. I'm making the list, and next-gen gaming is cool no matter what console it is. I just wanted it up there so the broke motherfuckers don't feel bad when they play their Series S.
Wow, okay, well, can you wrap up the list now?
Don't tell me what the fuck to do, Joe. You know I hate authority figures.
Sorry, Donnie, can you please continue the tier list?
Thank you for asking nicely, and I will. To be honest, I never touched Google Stadia or whatever the fuck that other thing is, so they're trash tier for me.
Okay, I have no. Google Stadia was that thing where it's like a virtual console, and all you needed was a screen, and essentially you could have like really good graphics and like FPS. I think. I don't exactly remember.
Okay-ish list, Donald, but where would you rank a gaming PC in all this?
Yeah, he wouldn't know since Melania won't let him get one.
Okay, so the gaming PC is Celestial tier, all right? This goes above all this other stuff, all right? Everything else on here is beneath a PC.
I actually know exactly where I would rate it, and that is V for virgins, you fucking PC losers.
Oh my god, that's so good. That's so good. Oh man, that's so funny. Anybody say anything? The fact that Obama and Biden have canonically played the Wii makes their reaction to it so much better. Yes. I wonder if actually any of these like presidents have played any video games like on a console. You know? And that'd be crazy if they actually did. I mean, maybe they have. Maybe they haven't. I mean, why would they? They have no reason to. I can't believe that Joe let Donald cook for 6 minutes straight. Let him cook. Yeah, no GameCube. That's because it's the Titan tier above God tier. All right. See, that's the main thing. No GameCube. All right. Barack, your brain must be scrambled from eating Michelle's low-calorie foods. This straight crack me up online. Oh my god, yeah, dude, this stuff is so good. It's so funny. I love it. All right, man. Good video. Peace.